Okay, hey, now for the next lesson, what I was going to show you is a letter of intent to purchase. Typically, I reserve this particular document for making offers on properties that you're going to purchase on terms. This is not something you want to use on wholesale deals. If you're wholesaling or making cash offers, it's easier just to go ahead and send a contract to the seller. You can send it via fax. It's actually really good to send it in the mail, priority mail or express, so that it actually gets their attention, lets them know that you're serious with a contract and a copy of an earnest money deposit via a photocopy of a check. And that's for cash offers. But if you're buying on terms, whether it's subject to lease purchase, lease option, some kind of split funding, and they're not agreeable to meeting right away, if they're showing a little hesitation but the motivation is there, it may make sense to go ahead and send them either via email or fax a letter of intent to purchase. Now this one, you'll notice I sent off back in November for a property in Colorado. And I actually have 3 offers. What we've noticed is when you give them more than one offer, the likelihood of the seller accepting your offer is increased. So it says, thank you for the opportunity to review and consider your home. We can purchase your home in the following manner. This one, I stated my offer was we can offer a cash price of $225,000 and close in 30 days or less. And that's basically a cash price of a typical ARV after repair value of 70% of the retail value of the house minus repairs. That's going to be a cash price around that, minus your profit. So it's not a retail price, it's a wholesale price that you're making a cash price offer for, because obviously you can't make money paying retail for houses. You're an investor, so you have to buy it at a discount. But you're closing in 30 days, so that's the reason or the motivation. It's going to be a quick sale. Now, number 2, we can purchase the property via a lease option for the full asking price of $299,000 for a lease term of 2 years with a security deposit equal to 1 month's rent from my qualified tenant buyer. So I'm letting the seller know that I'm not buying the house to actually move into. It is an investment, and that I do have buyers, or the ability to locate buyers that would love to live in a house, have the means of actually paying a monthly mortgage or monthly rent, but don't quite have the credit to the point where they can qualify for a loan. So this allows them to have debt relief on a monthly basis until the point where we can get them to qualify for a mortgage, which I'll go into that a little bit later on one of my other lessons, one of my other programs. Now, the third offer is we can purchase via seller financing for the full asking price of $299,000. The seller will receive a portion of the $80,000, which is mutually agreed upon, in equity at closing, and the remainder to be held as a second mortgage to be paid upon refinancing of the tenant buyer after acquiring conventional financing. So this is also an option of immediate debt relief, because the tenant buyer will be making the monthly payments. The seller will receive a portion, a cash portion of the asking price, but they're not going to get the full equity. They'll get the remainder of the balance once the buyer refinances, which will typically be anywhere from 18 months to 2 years later. If it's a situation where the seller is actually living in the house and they need money to move or money to put a down payment on another loan because they're buying another house, this option gives them that flexibility because it allows them to have cash up front. So they're not just walking out, with nothing in their pockets, also builds up trust, and it allows for them to have something to look forward to in the future. So they don't feel like they're leaving any money on the table. This is a more advanced technique. I will kind of go into this in a future lesson or in a future module. Not on this one, but additional course that I'll be teaching. But if you have any questions about this, on a deal on which you think may be appropriate for a letter of intent to purchase, or one where you have a seller who is motivated, but they have a particularly high balance, they may even owe just as much as what the house is worth, you can feel free to contact me, and I'll be able to walk you through the process, see what we can do to help you out, because there's still money in that deal. As long as the motivation is there, there's a way of making the deal happen if they're flexible. So that's it. Basically, they can sign on the bottom if it's one seller, if it's two sellers. They can email it back to you. They can fax it to you. They can mail it to you. But you want to get their signature. I mean, this is not a binding agreement. It's basically a compliance test in a way. It's saying if the seller is agreeable, and if they're willing to take this step, then they're more than likely willing to take the next step in order to get this done. Plus, you're not motivated to buy, and you don't want to be motivated to buy. You want to if they're motivated to sell, fine. But you don't want to be pressured to buy anything. You don't want to buy anything on bad terms. So if it doesn't work for you, you want to pass. But this is just another, arrow in your quiver. There's a little ammunition to getting deals done that you may not have considered. So I will leave I'll leave a blank copy of a letter of intent underneath this particular video that you can feel free to download for free. And then I will start to go into some additional documents that I use up to and including deeds and warranty deeds. So look forward to the next lesson, and let me know if everything was conveyed to you clearly. If there's any confusion, feel free to contact me. Until then.